Start at the beginning of Vayigash, okay? I want to give a little backdrop to the story. The backdrop to Parshat Vayigash is Yosef put his gevia in the divining cup in Binyamin's saddlebags, right? And then he sends his people, unknowing to Binyamin, he sends his people out to catch up with them. And they said, we stole our master's divining cup. So what did they say? So take a look, go to Parshat Miketz, Perek Mem Daled. We'll start even before Mem Daled. And so he said, you stole his thing. And Psukim before that, you stole his, he was so nice to you, and you stole his divining cup. Vayomer Elov, this is the brothers talking. Lomi Yadabra Doni Kadvar Malay. What are you saying? This Chalil Avadechem Esaskadar. We would never do anything like that. And we have a Kalvachomer. In Kesav Asher Motzon Mafiabta Choseinu Yeshivono. When we found money, we returned it to you. And we brought it all the way back from Eretz Canaan, and we're going to steal from your master silver or gold. When he mistakenly gave us money, we returned it. So Kol Shkei, we're not going to steal it, right? And then they said, like, got pasuk test. Asher yimotze ito me'avodecha v'meis. Whoever you find the cup with, he should be put to death, and will be for you slaves forever. So what did they say should be, what's the Shira Sadin? The one who stole it gets put to death, and the rest are slaves forever. Okay? And he says, Vayomer, this is the one in charge of the house, says, whoever did it, it'll be like you said, whoever took it, he will be an Eved, and you'll all be free. You'll all be clean hands, which means the law should have been whoever stole it gets killed and the rest become slaves. And what's that mitigated to? The one who stole it gets a slave and the rest go free. So there's two things that go off. The din misa goes off on the person who stole it, and it's commuted to a din of slavery, and that the slavery on the other 11, as some conspiracy theory, is commuted, and they all go free. So there's two coolers, right? Two coolers, okay? And they hurry up, and they open up their saddlebags, and they search all over, and they find it in the cup of Binyamin. They rip their clothing, they put everything back on their donkeys, and they go back to the city. And Yehuda and his brothers come to the house of Yosef, who's still there, and they fall on the floor in front of him. And Yosef says, what did you do? How did you know that I used this for my divining, and how did you go take this? And Yehuda says, what can we say? What can we speak? How can we justify it? God saw we did a sin, and we're all slaves for you forever, and even the one who stole will be a slave. It's understanding that before even Yehuda thought the one who stole it should be put to death, and now the one who stole it will be a slave. We'll all be slaves. And Yosef says, he'll be a slave, and the rest go to Shalom, you go back to your father. That's the basis of this. This is the environment of the conversation is going to start now. So again, the Shura Sadin was the person who stole should be put to death, and the rest should be slaves. After it's found, and then he commutes that, no, we're not going to put him to death, and you're not going to be slaves. He will go become a slave, the rest go free. When Yehuda makes another effort, he'll say, we'll all be slaves. We'll all be slaves. And Judah says, no. The one who stole, Yosef says, no. The one who stole be a slave, the rest go back to their father. Okay? What would you think? How do you think Yosef would be dealing with them? That's pretty nice, right? They themselves admit that they deserve much worse than he's giving them. So Yosef is being very generous to them, correct? Okay. Vayigash, I love Yehuda. Now Yehuda's leading. He's representing all of them. Vayomer bi Adoni, please, my master. Yedaber no avdecha dover beoznei Adoni, please let me speak. Vayichar apcha avdecha, don't be angry with me. Ki chamocha far, you're like Pharaoh himself. Let's take a look what Rashi says on the psukim here. Okay, may my words go into your ears. Please don't be angry. And from here you learn that he spoke tough to him. Don't you dare get angry. This is the way Rashi reads the pasuk. Because you're like Pharaoh. You're a chashuv to me like Pharaoh. And the Medrash says, you're going to get saras just like Pharaoh got saras. And not only that, just like Pharaoh keeps his word and says something, he doesn't keep his word, you're exactly the same thing. You said you could keep an eye on him, and now you're taking him away. Another pshat, you're like Pharaoh. If you start up with me and you antagonize me, I'm going to kill you and your master. Is he insane? The man is so nice to him. Unbelievably nice. They know they should be. I'll kill you. I'll kill your master. Don't you dare listen. Don't you dare not listen to me. You're going to get punished. What is going on over here? I'm sure you got in trouble many times with Rabbi Friedman, right? You know what? We're only going to suspend you for a week. And really should be, you deserve to be expelled. Listen, okay, if I did what you said, expel me. No, I'm just going to suspend you for a week. How dare you suspend me for a week? You and your son, I'll beat the heck out of you. Shugim to do that. Somebody who's accommodating, you don't attack him. You appreciate what he did. You need another example? Is that the problem? Getting the
Unless he wants to get kicked out.
What?
Some people want to get kicked out.
What is the pshat here? I mean, he's just saying my example isn't good. What's the pshat? This is a certifiable meshuggah. This is the leader of the Jewish people. Joseph is so nice to him. And Yehuda, the king, he sounds like crazy. Remember, the original, they themselves say, the Ganef deserves to be put to death and the rest should be slaves. He says, no, they're all going to be, he's not going to be put to death, he'll become a slave, the rest go free. And he repeats it. And even though Yehuda repeated again, no, we'll all be slaves, no. Only one slave and the rest go back to your father. Okay, now let me ask you another question to think about for a second. What do you think over here? This is how would you, if I tell you the word Vayigash, sometimes means pray, sometimes means war, and sometimes means to appease a person. What is he doing here? War. I'll kill you, I'll kill your master. God's going to strike you with leprosy. This is a very tough language, right? Now let's go back to where Rashi brings what the word Vayigash means. Go back to Parshas Vayera. On page 188. God just has told Avram he's going to destroy Sodom. 188. Oh, I'm sorry. Yud Ches, Perek Chof Gimel. I'm happy you're not using the English. Don't think I'm upset with that. Yud Ches Chof Gimel. Everybody have the place? What page is that? Yud Ches Chof Gimel. What?
47.
47. Rashi, Vayigash. Motzinu Hagosha L'Milchama. The word Vayigash means coming forward to fight. We find Hagosha L'Pius, coming forward for conciliation. Hagosha L'Tfila, coming for prayer also. And Rashi says that Kol Elu Nichlas Avram, the Daber Koshos, to go to war and for conciliation. So which one is the one here in Parshas Vayigash? What?
To be on fire.
No, what would you think it is?
Milchama.
Milchama. And Rashi says Vayigash Elav Yehuda. That is, see that Rashi? And Yehuda approached him. Vayigash Elav Yehuda. Agosha Pius. Vayigash Elav. This is Pius. I'll kill you and you'll kill your master. That's Pius. Our question was, it's an insanity of the person who's even doing it. It's so outrageous to do it. It's so stupid. I guess. Listen, I'm so stupid. What do you can't hold me responsible. I'm a shoit the gummer, so maybe that's the Pius. What do you hold me responsible? You see, I'm a shoit. I mean. You should have Rachmanis on me. I'm a shaita. It's like the kid who asked Rachmanis for being an orphan after he kills his parents. You don't say, I'm an orphan. You have to have Rachmanis on me. This sound like I'm so stupid that you have to have Rachmanis on me. I'm their leader and I'm an absolute idiot. And what's the pshat? What's Rashi saying? Hagosha L'Pius? Rashi learns pshat over here. I'll kill you and your master. I'm talking to you tough. And the other thing Rashi says is, you and your master are going to get soras. Do we have the kasha? We got the kasha down good? This is one of the most HaYeshiva life lessons. On every aspect, it's going to change your life if you listen to this carefully. And if they would understand this in the world, there would be a whole different understanding of Israel too. Everybody know what Chamberlain said when he came back from Germany in 1938. Peace in our times. Remember that? Peace in our times. We're not going to start with Hitler. We're not going to fight Hitler. There's peace in our times. And therefore he didn't want to make a move against Hitler. Did they have peace in our times? The Nazis killed, Regarm indirectly the death of 30 million people. The war and the murders on both sides. Peace does not mean surrender. Surrender is giving myself over for nothing. You got me. Peace means I want to work together with you. In Hebrew, in English, the word is Hebrew piyus sounds like peace. And the Goyim think there's some sense of peace is that we're not fighting. We're not fighting. You know why we're not fighting? Because I give everything away for nothing. Give me all the shtachim, give me back Israel, give me everything else, that we don't recognize the state of Israel. We won't attack you. We won't have a day of rage. You surrender, give me back the country for nothing. I'm saying even if their times would be legitimate, which they're not, but even if they would be legitimate, surrender is not peace. Surrender is giving everything away for nothing. Peace means I have the ability to kill you. I'm stronger than you. I could destroy you if I want. But I don't want to kill you. I want to work together with you. Peace is exactly the opposite. Peace is, I let you know I have this unbelievable ability, but I don't want to, but it's the last thing I want to do. I want to recognize you. I want to work together with you. And therefore, Israel could destroy. They take the nuclear bombs and take out all the Arab countries around them. We could do that. We don't want that. We want to work together with you. They want surrender. And surrender is not peace. Surrender is, we want to eat you up for nothing. That's not what it is. We can destroy you. We have a nuclear power and we can destroy you. But you know what? We don't want. We respect you and we want to be able to live together. That's the definition of peace. Let me tell you, okay, not many of you are thinking all day global politics. I don't think about global politics. But everybody has their issues with their parents. I get a simple motion. Now I'm going to give you something that you're going to say. All children deal with the issue their parents are controlling them. They're controlling them. And they do. They own the money. You get money. And you need money from your parents. So who controls who? And parents do control their children. I mean, most of you like everybody's dressed okay. You don't want to go around naked. You don't want to go around, going around like this to get some money to eat. So they pay tuition in Yeshiva. Okay, then they tell you what they want you to do. They want you to do this, they want you to do that. And you feel not too much liking about being controlled by your parents. You need them, but you don't like being controlled. Now, I'm not telling you that your parents didn't do anything wrong, give you an understanding of the wrong things. I want to tell you how you have to deal with your parent, your children. You have total control. Believe me, at the age of 7, they're not going around after shul to beg for food. And they're not going to do that. They don't want to do that. But the fact that you have money doesn't mean that you should control them. The fact that you have money means that you should give them whatever they need. As Rashi says, a father is a friend and a patron. But you know what? You deal with them with respect, as if you didn't own the money, as if you're not in control. In a loving relationship, I deal with you as if I'm not in control, even though I am in control. I'm in control. But I deal with you as if I'm not in control. That is a loving relationship. I could do whatever I want, which means I'm never going to criticize you for how you spend the money. I have responsibility, a father, patron. I got to take care of you. It's your money. You do whatever you want. And not only do whatever you want, I respect your decision. I hope I'll give you enough insight into life and enough values that you'll be interested in making good decisions. But I want you to be able to make a decision. A father wants that his children should, that's what he should be trying to get across. Not that you do what I want, but that you have the confidence in yourself to make a decision. So when a father gives a child money and says, no, you have to spend it on this or spend it on that, that's horrendous. That's the exact opposite of a loving relationship. That's a controlling relationship. Giving you the money doesn't give you the right to control anybody. The opposite. In Yiddish there's an expression, der was hat the meya hat the deya. Whoever has the money has the right say. In English, it's golden rule. The gold rules. Whoever has the gold rules. Neither of them are what the Torah wants. You could do that, but your avodah as the one with the gold is to make sure that you don't rule anybody, but actually you get buy-in, you explain, and you know what? And not only that, you give them the confidence that you respect their decision. This is a huge yesod. I'm telling you, one of the basic yesodas of life. And this is going to be affecting everybody for their whole life, for their relation with their parents, their children, but even more important, their spouse. The husband traditionally makes the money in the family. Usually more than his wife anyway, even in modern. The fact that you have more money doesn't mean that it's your opinion how the money should be spent. We're going on this vacation. I want to go in the winter to skiing, in the summer there, and I want to go Pesach vacation. Doesn't give you any rights at all. I mean, it gives you a right, but the way to have a real healthy relationship with your wife is a whole different feeling. Is where would you like to go? I don't want to go any place it's our money. Even though it's our money. There's money in the bank. Let's figure out what we want to do with our money. And it has to be a discussion, and both sides need buy-in. I'm telling you, this is the most important yesod of life. There was a meeting here of health professionals. So they asked me to speak. There must have been about, 300. It was a conference from health professionals from all over the world. So I was a local rabbi. They asked me to speak, and I don't know, maybe I was recommended because I do a lot of shalom bias counseling. And I, at that time, counseled 1,000 couples. In 25 years, 40 years here, 1,000 couples is below the amount of it, but at least 1,000 couples. And I always figured out right away in 5 minutes what the problem was. It had nothing to do, they come to a rabbi, why? He's too religious, she's not religious enough, or she's too religious. It's always, they come to a rabbi because they think the problems are religious problems. That, he doesn't want to go to the movies anymore because he became too religious. He wants to go out at night to a shiur because he's too religious. She resents that. Or he says, she used to be an attractive lady, and today she's dressing with these long, frumpy clothing because it's religion. She's too religious for me. That's the way it begins. I'm telling you, in 5 minutes, it doesn't take me more than 5 minutes to know it has nothing to do with religion. It has to do only with control. Because the reason she wears long sleeves is because she doesn't want to go with them at night. Not because she needs to wear long sleeves. So anyway, I'm giving this talk. And, I think my kids told me, don't talk like absolute terms. I always talk in absolute terms because what the Torah says I know is absolutely right. It's always about control. That's what I was going to say. So I decided I won't do that. I said, after speaking to them for a few minutes, I figure out at least 90% of the time it's about control. I finished my talk. Somebody, Rabbi, I just have one question. You're wrong. Oh, no. He said it's 90% about control. I said, yes. I said, Rabbi, you don't know what you're talking about. It's 99.9% about control. Psychologists know this better than me. I mean, I know it too. But they know it's a lie. There are no issues in families other than control. You have benevolent dictators. You have non-benevolent dictators. But a dictator is control. Even if he's a benevolent dictator. So he buys her nice jewelry and nice trips and nice fancy car and spends a lot of money on her, but it's still about control. Because if you make a person that they have to do what you want, even though you do it in a nice way, you're changing a person into a slave. And that's the destruction of a human being, and a wife deeply resents that, or the reverse. And today you have the reverse situation. You have Mr. Dad, what do they call him, Mr. Mom. She's making the money, and he's taking care of the kids at home because she likes the career and everything else. She makes a lot of money in a big law firm, but it's the same thing. If she has the money and she then makes the decisions how to spend the money, the husband is becoming not a person, he's becoming an Eved Kanani. He's becoming a slave to her, becoming a servant, which is, an Eved is kishor kechamor, it's a donkey. So before this, I was a human being. When somebody controls me, I'm a donkey. And that's where all the resentment comes from in families, husband and wife. And a lot of you had the same issues with your parents. Because a lot of parents do the same thing. They control the money, and they tell you how to spend the money. Oh, yeah, my father gives me a very nice allowance. but I'm only allowed to spend the money on certain things. Please. That's controlling. And you feel resentful. I mean, you're just desperate that you need the money, because the alternative of going around and begging doesn't work. But you're so upset at the fact of control. And by the way, it's nothing wrong to be upset about control. And then you go to a school and they do the same thing. They give you rules and regulations. You gotta do this, and after this, you get kicked out. Or you're asking questions. You're not allowed to use your head. The whole idea, what we try and do in the yeshiva, is give people the idea we're trying to empower them to make decisions. And the main thing is to understand that the fact that we have the ability to throw somebody out, it doesn't give us the right at all to tell you what to do. We have to give you the ability to make decisions. Of course, we try and make you understand you have to make decisions. And if you are willing to own up to the fact that you're going to take responsibility, well, what do you want to do? How many hours a day do you want to learn? How many shiurim are you going to come to? We have to know if this is the right place for you. Are you capable of making decisions? We don't want to have a place here that this inspires the bochum that are here. They want to learn. And somebody shows up an hour a week and says, well, I'm a yeshiva bochum, I'm eating this. That's very detrimental to the environment. So we don't have a yeshiva like that. We want to inspire people to learn. So the Rabbeim work out with the individual bochum. They worked out schedules with you. Tell me what you think you could handle. And then you have to be, and if you don't handle what you said, then we're not throwing you out because we own you. We're throwing you out because you yourself are not doing what you said you would do. You're not taking responsibility for yourself, and therefore, this is not the right place for you. We want to teach people to take responsibility for themselves. All authority figures should always be to teach the other person, not to teach the other person, but to make sure the other person is taking responsibility for themselves. And so that they can make decisions. And you respect their decisions. Yeah, okay. You went ahead and you took $500 you made and you bought an expensive watch, which probably itself is not good for you. So what? That's what you decided to do. We all made mistakes and decisions, but I don't want you to be afraid to make a decision the next time. Your decision doesn't need my approval. I want you to make decisions, and hopefully you'll take responsible and make responsible decisions, because the better you feel about yourself, the more responsible your decisions will be. That's really the yesod of the yeshiva. And here, Piyus is the same thing. Piyus is nobody's trying to control anybody. Piyus is real working together is that I recognize you have a perspective, and I want you to express your perspective, and I'm trying to develop you to express your perspective, which is very healthy. You should do that. And anything I do to tell you what my perspective is, you got to do what I want, it takes away from what we're trying to accomplish. And that's, as parents, what you have to do the same thing. You have to help the children, give them perspective, and most of all, let them know you respect their decisions. Respect their decision. But you actually, we have a health professional here, and maybe some of you are already using him, so I don't want to, I'm assuming here that I don't want to, call out the names of those that are using him. But health professionals also, they have to be very careful to make sure that they give a person real confidence when he makes a good decision. Not criticizing is not enough. You got to make a person feel good about it. That was a really good decision, and give them the reasons why it was a good decision, because very often we do things we don't even understand why we do them and what the benefit of doing it is. And if you have a successful, experience over a period of time with a health professional, you'll have more confidence in yourself to make decisions. Yes, you'll still make some wrong decisions. So what? The goal is not doing the right thing. The goal is deciding, making a decision, not listening to what somebody's telling you. That's horrendous. But what you have to understand, that's what Pius here is. Pius is, we want to live with you. I want to get along with you. I want to work with you. I can beat you up, and I can do this whole thing. He's not lying, Yehuda. You know, that tremendous amount of strength. In fact, Rashi in Chumash says that Levi himself had a descendant by the name of Eliezer, the son of Matasyo, who killed 20,000 himself, Greek centurions. They're the class soldiers of the world. He himself killed 20,000 of them. And the Rambam alludes to the same fact. So however it was, speed, deceit, I don't know, however, but Rashi says over 20,000, and the Rambam does talk about the unbelievable military victory the Jews had. Not the God saved them, that the Jews had. So they had the ability to kill Mitzrayim. That wasn't the problem. They didn't have the ability, but they don't want it. They want to live b'shalom with them. They want to work together, and that requires respecting each other. So when the Arabs say surrender, or else we're going to have a day of rage, they're telling you exactly, we don't want to give you any right to exist. We don't recognize your right to exist. That's the antithesis of Pius. That's what the world doesn't think. That's the antithesis of conciliation. I don't recognize your right. I recognize your right to exist, and I recognize my right to exist. We have to now figure how we can work together, not how I can get what I want done. Milchama is, I have to get what I want done because I can't work with you. Pius is, I can get what I want done through Milchama, but that's not what I want. The goal is we should be able to work together. This is the most important thing with your chavrusa, your friends, your bnei chabur, your spouses, and your children, and your parents, and your siblings. This is the most important yesod of life. Nobody who ever heard this shir should ever forget it, because this is really a life-changing shir. But you should think about it a lot, because it's a life-changing, and it's really all in the Rashi here. Pius doesn't mean I can get what I want done, and it certainly doesn't mean I'm allowed to surrender to you. It means I respect your right to make a decision, and I'm going to figure out how we're going to work out together. I don't have to kill you. I don't want to kill you. I'm letting you know I could, but I'm not. That's not on the agenda. I want to figure out how we can work together.
Why did Yehuda change his request from? Why did Yehuda change his request? Originally, he said we'll all be slaves. Now he's insisting that.
When he saw that whatever would happen would get Binyamin back to his father, that's when he decided we have to negotiate here. In other words, Yosef was not negotiating. Yosef was giving up a lot, but he had one non-negotiable. What was the non-negotiable? Binyamin stays here. And he wasn't willing to give that up.
But didn't he offer originally?
He offered altogether. Altogether would have been a whole different feeling. One thing I think altogether would have been, if you steal, what's the idea? Why is slavery in the Torah the punishment for stealing? It's a payback. Well, if you have 10 people working, you're going to pay back 10 times quicker. So this way he'll be in Egypt. By Binyamin by himself will take him 10 years, and this way we'll all be away for a year.
But what's he really paying back? He gave back the cup already. Isn't it like an offense?
But if you steal something, I mean, in Jewish law we have a pasuk, but it could be that you owe money for what you wanted to steal. A ganav pays kefil. He pays not only the value of what he stole.
How do you evaluate the value of a divining object?
Okay, whatever. There's a value to it. But the Rambam says, you know what the laws of kefil are? I stole your book. It's worth $10. How much do I have to pay you back? 20. So the Rambam says like this. What's the reason? This is in the Yad HaChazaka. $10 I'm giving you back. I'm giving you. Whose money am I giving that? Whose money am I giving you? The first $10. Yours. The second $10. Whose money is that? That's mine. So I'm doing to myself what I wanted to do to you. I wanted that you should miss 10. This is in the Rambam. This is in the Yada Chazak and Hilchos Geneva Paragalov. That I wanted to take from you $10. So now we take from me $10.
So that would seem like you have to take it from the person who did it. Though.
What?
That would seem like you have to take it from the
But it's a
person who did it.
conspiracy. Everybody in the conspiracy, everybody's chayav. The guy who stands outside and drives the truck gets the same punishment in the car, the getaway car, as the guys who went into the bank and robbed it.
Conspiring to, yeah. It's conspiring to.
Oh, we got it good? Is this a lesson that everybody will be able to use? If you think about it, you got to keep on thinking about it. And you got to deal with your chavrusas. I mean, I understand they're saying stupid is your chavrusa, but, at least be a kind, loving. No, listen to them. Try and learn what they're saying. Just being quiet while they're saying their narishkeit in your mind, that's not learning with somebody. Listen, and then when you use his perspective and your perspective, then you have something great together. It's about all working together. Shalom is all, and that's Shmo Shel Kadosh Baruch Hu Shalom. We all work together. This is the yesod of all human relationships. Until you know this, until you do this, you don't have any shaykhs to having a shaykhs to God. None.